Hi, the classic way of doing the specific capacity of a material is to make use of these immersion heaters. Retail about £16, I believe, and various blocks. That's an aluminium block, 1 kilogram, and that goes in there, and then you have a thermometer goes in there. We even go to the trouble of insulating our blocks to try and prevent heat loss. So that's the classic way of doing it, all right? But what we've come up with is an alternative which makes use of just a piece of nichrome wire, 36 gauge nichrome wire, and what we've made up is some holders for that nichrome wire. Now this is coraflute cardboard, plastic cardboard, cut into that kind of shape, and we've epoxy resined a couple of croc clips onto the card. Could have used a hot glue gun, although it's not as strong as epoxy. We take a thermometer and we make a heating coil quite quickly on there. That heating coil can then be attached to the croc clips one there and one there. And that's used to heat a small quantity of water. We're moving more towards small quantity physics, especially with the COVID regulations coming in where students have to have their own equipment. So what I'm going to do now is to apply a power pack to that heating coil into 50 mils of water. There's my thermometer going in to record the initial temperature and final temperature, and we're going to simply switch on. Okay, switch on. We've got a current of just over an amp at 4.5 volts, which we can actually monitor, and we're getting a heating effect. We will have taken the initial temperature. Okay, we would have started the stop clock as well. Okay, and then after a certain period of time we can switch things off, and we've actually got the information we need to calculate the specific capacity of the water. Okay, small scale physics. That's heating up quite nicely. It started off at about 20 degrees Celsius, and it's coming up now. I won't leave that running. An alternative, by the way, to the equipment there is perhaps these. This is from our chemistry department. They are carbon rod holders, and they didn't have any use for them, so I acquired them. If we put a croc clip in there and clamp it, a croc clip in there, we can actually use that as a holder for the element, the heating element. So the two leads would actually go into there. So that's an alternative version for doing specific capacity of water. It may well be possible to actually do this experiment with ice, to melt the ice to get the latent heat of fusion of ice, and maybe even at the other end make it boil and do the latent heat of vaporization. That now is at 25 degrees Celsius, so it's come up in that amount of time. Hope that's helpful to you.